Welcome to El Pueblo Unido. I'm your host, Elisa Covarrubias, Deputy Director at Galeo & Galeo Impact Fund. On this show, we hand off the mic to different members of our team to chat with outside experts, leaders, and trailblazers shaping our communities across Georgia. Our guest today is Ivan Shammas, President of Hispanic Plug, a multimedia marketing agency dedicated to integrating businesses into the dynamic and growing Hispanic market. Ivan is a seasoned Latinx media executive with over 25 years of experience in regional and national media management. His expertise encompasses revenue generation, operations, marketing, and strategic planning. Bicultural and bilingual, he possesses a deep understanding of the Hispanic landscape and excels in driving advertising, media, and community impact initiatives. As the president and general manager for Univision Atlanta and Univision North Carolina, Mr. Shammas was instrumental in leading comprehensive strategic planning and execution across various departments and platforms. His responsibilities included oversight of news, sales, local programming, and community initiatives. His career trajectory then took him to the role of Regional Chief Revenue Officer, where he supervised efforts across the Mid-Atlantic region, encompassing 6 states. Most recently, Ivan became a partner and equity owner of Atlanta's longest running and most trusted Spanish language newspaper, Mundo Hispánico. A passionate advocate for the Latinx community and small businesses, Ivan is a sought-after speaker and thought leader sharing his insights on strategic growth and diversity engagement. He actively engages in philanthropic partnerships, demonstrating his commitment to servant leadership and fostering inclusive environments. His experience provides valuable perspectives on the Latinx market and its evolving needs. Ivan, thank you so much for joining us today. I mentioned a little bit about your career in your intro, but could you tell us more about your career path and how you came to be where you are today?
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Elisa, for having me. This is special. Galeo holds a special place in my heart, and I want to thank Jerry Gonzalez and the entire leadership team. We've seen what Galeo has done over the past 20 years, and it's been amazing for our community and for professional development. So thanks for having me here. There's so many different places to start, but taking it back, I'm a guy who moved here when I was 10 years old, and this was before the Hispanic boom, before we realized that Georgia was going to be one of the fastest growing states in the entire country. I graduated high school from Norcross, Georgia, which ended up coincidentally being one of the epicenters for our state as far as Hispanic growth. And then I went on to Georgia State University. And before I graduated, I received a friend of mine told me, hey, why don't you go work and sell advertising for Univision? And I'm thinking, listen, I'm from Norcross. He says they were in Norcross. I was like, Univision's not in Norcross. We've been watching it all of our lives. He says, no, actually it is because it's through Comcast Cable. So I graduate college, I get my first job selling airtime commercial spaces on Telemundo, Univision, Galavision, and all the Spanish channels. And little did I know that I was going to love and get into the industry of media. And a lot happened in the early 2000s. And this is all a trickle effect from the original Olympics that came to Atlanta, the 1996 Olympics.
Oh, wow.
Because we needed the support to get our city ready, and the city leaned on Latinos to come into our city, our market, and help with construction. And that trickle effect actually affected all of us indirectly, because it ended up becoming a base, a foundation for more families to arrive, more businesses, Hispanic businesses to grow, more advocacy, more media companies. And so literally in the 2000s, Atlanta was the #1 fastest growing Hispanic market in the entire country. So here I am starting my career selling advertising for television. Univision decides to open up a station here in Buckhead. And of course, they're going to lean on the 2 employees that were selling it for cable. So we come on board, myself and a mentor of mine of many years named Jorge Gomez. So that's where the journey starts, and we were part of this entire growth. We leaned in where we could and gave back where we could, but also saw the businesses and helped businesses as much as we could as well. So that's where it started for me here in this market.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And what are you doing now? What are you up to these days?
All right. Well, Elisa, I had an amazing run, at Univision, at Telemundo, then even coming back to Univision, believe it or not. I started as a young account executive when Univision opened up their station here right after 9/11. Grew my career that way, went on to work as the general manager for Telemundo Atlanta for about 8 years, and then was brought back to Univision, this time as their president and GM for Atlanta and North Carolina. So media is my life. And when I say media, that involves everything from local news to advertising, to marketing, how to get a business out there to the masses so that they can receive results. But also on top of that, I just want to make sure that we have always used media for the benefit of our community through collaborations of so many amazing nonprofits such as Galileo. Our community needs to hear about this, and so we use the platforms of radio, television, digital to get the word out to the masses. And currently, I am now with my own company, doing it myself and with my team called Hispanic Plug. We handle local and national advertising across the country. When it comes to reaching out to the Latin audience and building up businesses. I'm also a proud partner of the longest newspaper in the state of Georgia, Mundo Hispanico, that actually...
Anna.
Hi, I'm Ale.
And we are the program coordinators for Galeo's leadership department. We are here to invite you to this year's Ponte las Pilas Latino Leaders Summit.
Yes, it's going to be August 29 from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Junior Achievement Center in Lawrenceville. Please go ahead and get your tickets at www.galeo.org. We hope to see you there. Bye.
Bye.
Welcome back, Yvonne. I understand that you have a long history with Galeo. How did you first get involved, and what has that looked like? How has it changed over the years?
Well, it's definitely changed. I attribute me leaning in to an organization, Galileo, as the first step that I took into doing more with the community and understanding what servant leadership was. So I'm going to take this back to maybe 2010. I remember being at my cubicle in Buckhead at Univision and seeing a post about Galileo's Institute of Leadership, GIL. And it said, hey, send us your information, fill out this application, and if you're accepted, you will be part of a cohort, 15 people, that will be over a 9-week course, and you would be understanding and studying something out of the University of Georgia, the Fanning Institute of Leadership. So believe it or not, I filled it out and I faxed it because this was a time where Galileo, Jerry, even the world was still using faxes to receive applications. And I sent it in, and then I got word that I did make the class. And so I was super excited. And that was my first true taste of not only community service, leaning in, but also Galileo and understanding it. So I went through my 9-week course every Saturday. And here I am in an Institute of Leadership that is made up of all different walks of life. You were having executives there. You were having nonprofits. You were having people showing up in buses, but also in their Mercedes. So it was, what I learned from that was the different perspectives of life and how this is how we approach life based on our upbringing, based on our background, based on our beliefs. So that was the first time I felt like I was introduced to the reality of everybody can be right because this is where they come from. Mm-hmm. And this is how their outlook is on life. So GIL, Galileo Institute of Leadership, was amazing. That actually got me more involved in advocacy work, and I became involved with voter registration for Galileo. So I remember those days when I was at the Plaza Fiesta with the government documents, registering people to vote. I took such pride in that. We were at festivals. I have some great pictures that we're going to share with you as well from the early days. And so that propelled me into becoming the chair of that committee, the voter registration committee, which then propelled me into getting more involved with the GLC, Galileo's Leadership Council. And at the time, there were 6 different committees. So here I am growing, stepping in, leaning in, and doing more with Galileo. But while this is all happening, I'm also growing my career, getting more involved in other things. I did become the chair of the GLC, which was a beautiful, fun experience, a memorable time for me. And we had 6 different committees under there: advocacy, um, the voter registration, the essay contest, a few different ones. And we were making new friends and making an impact and passing it forward and doing good for the community. So of course, over the years, GLC, I still stayed involved. As my career grew in media, I made it a point to have partnerships and give Galileo and organizations a new platform so that they can truly speak the message to the larger audience across the state and the metro Atlanta area. So we established partnerships when I was at Univision and Telemundo so that Galileo could have an ongoing presence on television with us. And in turn, our stations were actually present at all of Europe, all of Galileo's amazing events. And so the involvement has been there. Now, parlaying that to today, this year, for example, I'm proud to say that Galileo and Mundo Hispanico has now signed a partnership agreement as well, so that Galileo has a voice in the oldest and longest running newspaper that is still picked up 90% of the time by our community all over the greater Atlanta area. So those partnerships continue. Loving everything. I'm still involved. We're still attending everything from the 20th anniversary to the Power Breakfasts, the Hispanic Heritage Luncheon. Elisa, you and I are going to be co-emceeing that September 18th in Morrow, Georgia. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that as well. But we're staying involved.
Thank you. I love hearing about all the different ways you've been involved with Galileo over the years, and really appreciate that you still think about us and include us in places like Mundo Hispanico so that more people can get involved and we can continue to help uplift future generations as well. And likewise, I'm looking very much forward to our Hispanic Heritage Luncheon. Can't wait to see people there. I know we're going to have a good time being the MCs. You mentioned a little bit about doing voter registration, and I would just love to hear, was there anything from that time that stood out to you? Was there anything that you learned, or did it change the way you looked at voting and the importance of that in our community?
Well, we realized that how important voting is, and we realized that communities can be marginalized where they don't even have the voice. And because some have never been given the opportunity. Some may not even realize, hey, it's how easy is it to register to vote? And we can't take that for granted. We all have a voice, and it's our duty and our privilege to be able to cast that vote and represent our beliefs as well. We live in a great country, and that's what makes us so strong, is because we honor that and we respect the opinions of others. Well, at least we like to think that. So, but what I really got most out of those initial days of voter registration was what really captured me from those initial days is the bonding and the relationships that you have made, because now you're with like-minded people who are future leaders of our community. If they're leaning in, then this is something that's innate in them, and they will grow, and you're going to see them grow, and we've seen them grow. And I love the history of Galileo, because you've got Jason Estevez, who went on to be senator, Dax Lopez, Brenda Lopez. It's amazing the leaders that have come and been involved from such an early time with Galileo and the impact they're making on our community. The list goes on and long. The moderators that are out there. I remember Peggy. I remember Laura Marvartian, Maria Duarte. Those days, those were special times as well. But what's beautiful is that we're seeing this new generation, and we're seeing the impact that Galileo continues to make, the growth. I mean, Jerry used to run this with Maria Duarte and Jose, and we have seen the growth and the need for Galileo in our community. So that's been beautiful. In this day and age, we don't have time to make new friends because everybody's so busy. But when you do lean into an organization, when you commit to an institute of leadership or a volunteering program, all of a sudden you're being plugged into a great group, like-minded leaders that you will be friends with for life.
Amazing. Well, on that note, we are going to take a quick break and hear some updates from our civic engagement department, actually. So that's right in line with our topic. We'll be right back.
Great.
Hola, me llamo Eli y soy organizadora comunitaria aquí en Galeo. El verano pasado construimos 7 Little Libraries a lo largo del corredor de Buford Highway y necesitamos tu ayuda para recolectar y llenar nuestras librerías. Aceptaremos donaciones de libros durante todo el resto del año. Si le interesa, por favor envíame un correo electrónico a elora@galeo.org para coordinar la entrega o la recogida de los libros. Gracias por su apoyo. Hello, I'm Ellie and I'm the community organizer here at Galeo. Last summer, we built 7 little libraries along the Buford Highway corridor, and we need your help to collect books to refill our little libraries. We will be accepting book donations all year round. If interested, please email me at elora@galeo.org so that we can arrange a drop-off and or pickup. Thank you for your support.
And we're back. It's always great to see what our civic engagement team is building. Before our break, we were talking about your history with Galeo. We talked a bit about your career, but there's a lot of stuff that you've done even outside of that. It's really hard to capture everything in your bio. Can you tell me a bit about other ways you've been engaged in the community, like any involvement with boards and other groups like that?
For sure, Lisa, and thanks for asking that. I always go back to that moment when I faxed in that one document to Galeo, because that was the first time that I actually leaned in and said, let me explore, how do we get involved? And because of that, be careful what you wish for. Because of that, you get parlayed into other committees, chairing nonprofits, being on other boards. And little did I know at the time that I would be pulled into a lot of amazing nonprofit boards and for-profit as well. But I have been proud to have served 6 years on the United Way of Greater Atlanta, the Atlanta Community Food Bank. I'm currently on the YMCA of Greater Atlanta. I'm an honor. I'm a board member, longest serving board member of the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which is amazing. And several others. And then of course your kid's school pulls you in and they're saying, hey, we need you on our board. And I'll tell you, everybody's looking for that perspective. And in my case, it's been special because they wanted a Latin perspective over the past 10 years of my board involvements. And I try and trim them down now because our time gets so packed. And so we're being super selective, but I'm proud to be on the Fox Theater Board as well, the National Center for Civil and Human Rights, the Caribbean Cultural Arts Foundation. So it's been a great ride. I love lending my voice when possible. And in the meantime, you're getting to meet and be part of an amazing group of individuals that run this city, that care about this city and want what's best for it.
Absolutely. At Galeo, we want to see representation from our community and in all places, government, yes, but also in places like board meetings for all these wonderful organizations, like you said, that make the city go round. So what would you tell young folks that are interested in getting involved? Is there any advice or any encouragement that you have?
Absolutely. I think that one of my mottos is say yes. Just ask, lean in. And that's so key, because if we don't just allow us to do something that has been uncomfortable by saying, yeah, let me look this in, let me attend this meeting, let me go to this luncheon and see how I can get involved, then we're going to be stagnant. We're not going to be growing mentally. We're not going to be growing in our profession or in our community as well. And it's super refreshing. So lean in. Find an organization that you feel passionate about. It could be about advocacy work. It could be about child bullying. It could be about cancer. It could be about services like the Latin American Association, or it could be about business like the Georgia Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. But lean in, find out how you can get involved. And for those who are still under 40, under 30, there's so many youth groups as well. I think of United Way's Young Professional Leaders. I think of the YMCA board that I'm on. They've got an advocacy group. An advisory group for the younger generation as well. So find where you can get plugged in, because now you are associating with those that will be running the city one day. And you're going to be able to find quality, good friends to surround yourself with, and also influence. And they're going to pull you up just as we are pulling others up. And that's a big part of our responsibility in life. So lean in, say yes, and just ask.
Some great advice there, Ivan. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and your experience and involvement in boards. We're going to take another quick break, and then we will be right back and have a little more conversation and then get wrapped up. Thanks.
Hey, Pueblo Unido viewers. Hope you guys are enjoying this episode. I just wanted to let you know that on behalf of the Galileo Impact Fund, we're so excited to announce that we've endorsed an amazing slate of candidates for the 2026 election cycle. Please go to our website at galileoimpactfund.org to learn more and follow us on socials. Thank you.
All right, so we've covered a number of topics. We talked about, some of the things that you've been involved with outside of work and Galileo. But what about in your personal life? So you do a lot of things. Do you find time for fun? Tell us a little bit about just Ivan outside of all of that.
Love that. Thank you, Elisa. Well, first of all, I'm super blessed, and we have our priorities straight. God for sure. Family is so important, and we have to find those opportunities to spend time with family. I've got an amazing family with 3 beautiful children as well. And we make it a priority to travel, take time. This, I would say, is one of our hobbies, because when you have those moments, they're forever. They're memories that are created. And that's what life is all about. It's about being with family. We're going to have ups and downs in our careers, in our professional growth, in life as well, because things are thrown at us. But the core that we have is our family. And I'm in a beautiful phase of my life right now where I get to be with my children and watch them grow and try and do the best I can as a dad and enjoy every moment of it. And then the other thing is we can't take life too seriously either. We have to enjoy this ride. La vida es una, as Mark Anthony says in one of my favorite songs. And so we got to have fun. We got to laugh. We got to make it a point to wind down and know that your work will be there tomorrow as well. And we're responsible enough to get it done, but we're also responsible enough to know when to turn it off. And so that's what we aim to do.
Absolutely. We need rest. We need joy. We need love and time with our families. Very good reminders. Do you have any hobbies or fun things that you enjoy? Like, I understand you're on the Fox Theater board. So Are you a fan of the arts?
Big fan of the arts, and have always been growing up. Even always loved acting back in my prime, but as a younger man, and still parlaying that. One of my sons is actually enjoys acting, does all kinds of theater at his school, takes classes as well outside of school, has an agent, and so we've made it I make it a point to stay involved. The Fox Theater, for example, I'm super excited. Hamilton is coming next month or September. I'm excited that Buena Vista Social Club is coming as well. My kids have been around that. We love theater, and I make sure that we stay involved and lean in where we can. I was honored to help with the Spanish advertising for the Alliance Theater, because last month, here in July, they just brought the show Basura. Basura is Gloria Estefan and her daughter's collaboration about a true story about students in Paraguay who live near a landfill. Their instruments were stolen, and they did not have quality instruments. So they decided to make instruments out of the trash that they were able to get from the landfill. And this became a phenomenon. They received a lot of attention for it. Now they actually tour the world with these instruments. And so this production opened here in Atlanta at the Alliance Theater with big hopes. It actually did extremely well in Atlanta. It was tough to even find a ticket, and with big hopes to see how this thing can eventually grow, maybe to Broadway. So I was honored to be part of that. I do love the Fox Theater. I'm also, Center for Civil and Human Rights and the great exhibits they have there, the Caribbean Cultural Arts Foundation. So yes, I would say that's one of my passions.
Amazing. Yeah, Basura was great. A few of us from Galeo actually got to go together and we had a wonderful time. So, Yvonne, thank you so much for coming on today. You shared a lot of great information and looking forward to Hispanic Heritage Month luncheon with you. But if people want to learn more about you or follow your work, how can they do that?
Well, for sure. It's important to still be connected on social media as well. And that's why Hispanic Plug is active out there. I also want to say LinkedIn is super important in our professional and our personal growth, in our career growth. And it's a great way of staying in touch and keeping those connections for years to come. And really, it's a way for the business community to see the great work that an organization is doing, that an individual is doing. So I encourage everybody to be on LinkedIn, find us on LinkedIn, and that's just a great way to stay connected.
Absolutely. Happy to connect with people on LinkedIn. Thank you again, Yvonne. And for our listeners, again, we invite you to our Hispanic Heritage Month luncheon in September. It'll be in Morrow. We have some great speakers, including Senator Ruben Gallego, Claudia Caucha from our board, and Jenny Castillo. So a lot of names that you recognize. And then, of course, myself and Yvonne as your MCs. It's going to be a great time. Okay, Yvonne, I'll see you soon. And remember, El Pueblo Unido
Jamás será vencido.
That's right. See you soon.